Hey gang, the Headley Group Real Estate Show is a video audio podcast designed to highlight and interview real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, and other fields alike. The mission of our podcast is to acknowledge people of color and show their successes, and in return, help our audience learn from them and pick up tips and tricks in building additional income. Hey ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode on the Headley Group Real Estate Show, where we highlight real estate professionals in the business as well as people who's outside of the business, such as investors and entrepreneurships. The whole focus is on real estate. We got a young lady. We reached out. We've seen she's doing some great things per social media. We reached out to her, and I said, I think you'll be a great fit for our community, what you're doing. And she happy obliged and said, be a part of the show. Mm-hmm. She's a real estate coach and a real estate agent. Been in the business about 2 years. Let's give a warm welcome to Van-Neisha Johnson in the Richmond area.
Hello.
How you doing, sister?
I'm well. How are you, Mike?
Oh man, we are doing well on this side. And like I just said, you're doing some great things like we saw. And I just think what you're doing should be highlighted, and we can speak to the people who you can relate to. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the reach out. I'm excited.
Right. That's right. We got to support each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Van-Neisha, you've been in the game about, you said 2 years. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
2 years been in the game doing real estate. All right. What was that spark? What was that thing that made Van-Neisha say, let me try this over here? I see everybody talking about real estate. What was that about? What was that?
Yeah. So actually it wasn't a spark for me. Okay. That happened through me. So I'm from education. My whole career has been education, schooling, education, master's in leadership, all that. Right. And so I was just working, and my husband, we had just built our house, and my husband was like, hey, you should maybe sell houses on the side. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm not salesy. That's not my thing. I'm good. I like to go to model houses. That's what I like to do. And come on out. Right. Okay. And so he was like, you should do it. So he sent me to real estate school, and I was just like, I'm just here because my husband sent me. I don't really know what I'm doing. And so when I got there though, I was like, you know what? I could do this. This might be a thing, right? So I followed through, and I finished the course, and I just was like, let me just dip my toe in and see. Okay. And little did I know, it was about to be a whole situation, a whole thing. So I did just that. I dipped my toe in, and then I got sucked in. And so I guess to answer your question, it wasn't even really a spark. It was more so somebody seeing the spark, or somebody seeing something that I was good at. Okay. That I didn't even really know I had, and him kind of pushing me. So that's how it went.
Well, the good thing you said, I'm going to peel back that a little bit, is you constructed your house from the ground up, correct?
Yeah.
You're right. And I think a lot of times, some people here we have on our team, they was actually buyers, right? And they was like, well, you know something? I heard cases where as though they said they done everything, and the agent probably wasn't as good. So said, hey, let me dip my toe in it, right? But then you said something so profound where other people can see things in us that we may not see, and your husband saw a spark, and he was like, okay, well, I'm investing in us because it is us, right?
Yep.
And it turned out to be a great investment.
Absolutely.
So now you get licensed, and you are on a hunt and a search, right? So I do want to talk about this part here, because a lot of people, they'll ask me, okay, well, now I'm licensed, what do I do next? Without necessarily, I'm not going to say promote, the company, but what did you do a all around interview with different companies, or you already had your eyes set on one particular one?
Yeah, so I already had my eyes set on one particular one. When I was in school, different brokerages came through and talked to us. Okay. And so one really appealed to me, and I reached out, and we went from there. So I really had my eye on one. I'm kind of glad that happened though, and I love where I am, but I'm glad that it happened that way, because I can be quite indecisive, and being in a new industry and not really knowing all to look for, and just kind of stumbling on it. I'm glad it happened the way that it did. So I kind of had my eye on one. I did not go through the whole interviewing all the people, but yeah.
Correct. And let me tell you the reason why I asked you that. Did you have, and you know, we keep it real on our show.
Absolutely.
Some candidates, once they get licensed, they have this aura like, okay, wow, everybody's calling me. I'm getting all these postcards in the mail, getting these phone calls. Evidently, I have something, right? But a lot of times on the other side, they just want to fill them seats up, right? And not saying that they can't be of value to, but they just want to fill them seats up. So I'm quite sure the question I want to ask you is that, did you go in and you can answer if not, with the humbleness, like, okay, well, you know, they everybody's calling, but at the same time, I got my eye on this particular company? Or did you look at it from, okay, I'm feeling myself a little bit, like how did you how did you take that?
Yeah. So here's what I did. I knew what I did know is that they were filling seats.
Okay.
So like I acknowledged that, right? But I also knew that I brought value to the table. So I wanted to make sure that just as much as y'all are hunting to fill the seat for me, that I'm gonna get a return on my investment, right? So like, I think it was a mixture of the two.
Okay.
I think it was like, initially, oh snap, everybody want me. But then once I learned the game, like quickly, it was just like, okay, I have value to bring, and I have something to add. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think I was a little bit of both, little big headed, little humble.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
you know.
Well, I'm, at least I'm glad you kept it real, right? Because some people say, no, I was humble, because I see that in our process when, you know, when we interview and kind of new, it's this mystique of like, hey, okay, well, you know, I'm just a little above but I just look at it. If you bring value, like you said you're doing, again, it becomes a marriage. It becomes a good business relationship, right? We work well together.
Absolutely.
Now you're on board, and I'm quite sure the training and the education is there, but we all know that the true education is when you're out in the battlefield, so to speak.
That's right. That's right.
So now, how long did it take for you to close your first deal after being licensed?
It took I got my license in May. It took 3 months.
3 months. Wow. Congratulations. Take a little on that.
Yeah, so let me tell you, I really believe that I have like this further, faster anointing. And so that's literally what I have like experienced. I did not mean to get into real estate. I did not mean to do the things that I've done. But what I have experienced is that I've gone further, faster. And so I did 1.6 million in volume my first 6 months.
We got to get a round of applause on that. Say that one more time. First 6 months.
Yep, first 6 months, 1.6 million. And I was never a numbers person.
Okay.
I actually like stumbled upon my dashboard with my brokerage, and I was like, wait a minute, does this say what I think it said? And my mentor was like, yeah, like it does. And so I wasn't really tracking it at first because I was new, so I didn't know. But all I knew was that I was gonna grind it out, right? But yeah, so I just that's been my experience. So it was 3 months. I got my first deal through an open house. I hosted I had an open house. And so the couple came through, and that house was not quite the one. And I was like, I don't know, but I'll take you to see another one. Like, let's go, right? And so I just jumped in. So although I didn't have all the answers, I had to grind, right? And I was like, I was willing to learn. I was willing to make mistakes. I was willing to do these things. And so I jumped in, and they were my first deal. That was in like July, June, end of June. And we closed in August. It was my first deal. Now, after that, I did not have another one for another 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And that felt like a long time. Like it was like, oh snap, right? So it went fast, and then it was a little break, and then it's been on the gas ever since.
So let's talk about that. The power of open houses, right? A lot of times people say, hey, this is for nosy neighbors. They're not effective. But you made it effective by you being present. They weren't working with an agent, and you said, hey, this ain't working out. I can show you property A, B, and C down the street. All right.
Yep.
Did you have a signing sheet in place? And I'm breaking it down so somebody who's new, just got licensed yesterday, may see this. What was that system like for you to capture that client?
Yeah. So first off, I'm really big on aesthetics and I'm big on experiences.
Okay.
And so when you come to my open house, I have candles, just smelling. You gotta smell good, right? Or a candle, right? But I have that. I have music on. I have food. So I have experiences, right? And so the couple walked in and Anita Baker was playing. And the guy was like, what you know about Anita Baker? And I was like, what you mean? Right. So we like went back and forth. And so that's kind of what broke the ice and got it past just, is this house good for you? But actually built a relationship and rapport. So I had that happen. And then, yes, I did have a sign-in sheet, but I don't even know that they signed the sign-in sheet because he hit me with the Anita Baker question and we just started rapping from there. I say that to say it's super important to like customize these experiences and make them your own because you never know. I'm a firm believer that your clients are your clients. They were my clients. Like they were always my clients, right? Because they came through and we were able to connect, on something. But yes, I had a sign-in sheet. That's typically what I do so that I can, see exactly who's in there and who needs representation or has it. Yeah.
So you built that commonality with aesthetics and Anita Baker, right? Anita Baker would make them say, hey, what you know about Anita Baker, right? And it was an instant connection there. So now you said 3 months, no deal, okay? And I don't know if you got hit with the spoil syndrome. And what happens, it happens in business. They first come in, they get licensed, they get 2 or 3 deals, knock it out of the park, and they think, hey, this is going to be the next 3 or 4 more months, and that may not be the case, right? Because that can be a little discouraging, right? It's like, okay, I made this money. I'm quite sure. Hopefully, you didn't say, okay, well, I'm spending it. You was wise. How did you deal with that from a mindset of the next 3 months, I have no deals?
Honestly, I was still working my 9 to 5. So real estate money was my play money.
Okay, got you.
I saved some, but another chunk of it was my play money. So I did not feel the weight of it until I left my job. So I just left my job in May to do real estate full time. And so now I'm just trying to make sure that I plan accordingly. Goal setting is really big, right? Like, so making sure you see, because, we go under contract today. What's today? December 8th, December 9th, 30-day close. I ain't getting paid till January 11th, 12th, you know what I mean? So like, making sure that now, to answer your question, I'm putting like these goal setting measures in place where I can say, okay, if I have 2 closings this month, where in the month am I closing? Am I going to see that money this month or is it next month? So just making sure that I'm, kind of moving like that.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate or you're a seasoned vet, you might want to change, new environment. You don't like the atmosphere you're in. The Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show. And I like what you said. You spoke on, because we want to dig a little deep, and you took it there in terms of you was working a job, right? Yeah. Working a job, you was 9 to 5. And you knew every 2 weeks, don't know the pay schedule, I'm getting paid regardless. So I know that check is coming. That's a real estate, but I know I'm getting paid to cover these expenses.
That's right.
What was that? Because it takes, I tell everybody, particularly when we bring on new agents, is you'll know when you're ready, right? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you that you should be ready. You'll know when you're, so what was that inside you said, something, sink or swim, I'm going for it. What was that?
Yeah. So for me, that was when I realized I was doing my stuff on their time more than I was doing when I was doing that work, right? And it showed up. So I'm very big on whatever I'm in, whatever I'm connected to, I want to do it well. And if I can't do it all the way, I'm gonna pull out. And so what I realized was I was not doing my job how I'm built, right? And it's because, not that I was lazy, it was because my interest was somewhere else. And if I'm not passionate about it, I don't want to be in it. So I realized that, hey, you know, education is my passion. I was out of the classroom at this time, but I was like, you know, education is cool, but this real estate, I'm passionate about this, and this is really it's bleeding over into my time, you know. And so I just realized if I had more hours in a day to put towards this real estate thing, this could pop, you know what I mean? And so it was at that point that I was like, okay, because I'm not showing up well to both things, I really can put my energy and my resources and time into the one thing that I'm passionate about. So that's like the turning point for me.
I like that. Yep. Education. You mentioned that. I don't want to assume, but I take it you was a teacher. What was that?
I was a teacher for a few years, and then most recently I've moved into like a community engagement position role. So it had a little more freedom, which is what I was looking for. But I was a classroom teacher, moved into that role. So that is the last role that I had in education, was that community engagement piece. So yeah.
So teaching, which leads, and we're gonna come back to talk more specific about real estate, but we see that you're a real estate coach as well. So how much did that teaching play into the real estate coaching, and how is that impacting your business now by being a coach?
Yeah, same skill set. And I tell people that it's the same skill set. It's just a different classroom, just different subject. So like I'm still helping people discover their why. I'm still helping light bulbs go off. It's just that the content has changed, but I'm still educating. And even in the realm of coaching, I'm educating. But even if we want to be real, when it comes to my clients, it's the same thing. Like my first time home buyers, coaching them, helping them, educating them on the process. If you want to build a house, educating them on that. So education is in me, and it just so happened that I've just changed my content, but it's still the same skill set. Advocating, educating, same thing.
Well, the reason why I asked you that, I think by being a real estate professional, I think you're immediately forced in so many different titles, right? Ultimately, project manager, but you become an educator. You become a psychologist, right? You become some people, you become a bishop, right? So you take on all these referee, exactly, right? So you take on all these different roles, and the fact that you was in the classroom and you dealt with so many personalities. I know they was children. I don't know the age ranges, but now you're dealing with adults. So you said the same class, kind of switching the classroom, same kind of formula. When you're out there educating your clients, do you ever run into, and I know a lot of people that I ran into with this, I know what I'm doing. I've watched HGTV. I read a couple of books, but they said it's this way. There's nothing wrong with them having questions, but do you run into that, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I'm really big again on my clients, and from the beginning, in my buyer's consultation, I walk through what you can expect from me and what I expect from you. It's give and take, right? It's both. And so at that point, if you don't think we're a good fit, I am not offended and have no problem with moving on. Because this is the thing, it's a big purchase, and it's a big process. And so what's needed the most is trust. We got to trust each other.
Exactly.
So if we're in a scenario and you're not hearing me and you're not like listening, honestly, because we keep it real, right?
That's right. Sometimes, that's how we like it.
Listen, sometimes you gotta let them fall a couple times. Like sometimes if you're not gonna listen, okay, I'll write the offer up. All right. But then when you don't get it, you're gonna be like, why? This is why. Teachable moment, right? This is why. Let me try my way now, right? And so I've done that. And then sometimes if it legitimately is just not a good fit, I don't have a problem. I'm not losing anything. I would rather you go from the beginning and we just part ways than we go through 60, 90 days of, I don't even know, That's so right. I'm really big on just making sure that the standards are set and expectations are set so that we can meet them, and just being really clear on communication.
I like what you said during your buyer consultation, you set the standards up early. This is the level of expectation. This is what my obligation to you is, and this is what I kind of expect in return. So there's nothing misconstrued a little later on. Have you ever ran into the situation where did the buyer consultation, everything's going well, go on the contract, and we're moving, but somewhere along that process, the buyer thought process or just how she or he is viewing the deal changes, right? And you're like, where's this coming from, right? Because they get an outside consultation from probably the uncle who sold a house 10 years ago, right? So how do you deal with outside interference during your transactions, if you ever dealt with that before?
Slightly. And I think I go back to the point of, hey, like, this is our transaction. Like, I'm really big on communication, and I understand that sometimes we have to have tough conversations.
Correct.
And so I just say, hey, like, let me hear me when I say rather that I understand that this is a big transaction and you have people behind you, you have a village, and I'm glad that you do. However, their experience is not this experience. And so the market is different. If your cousin sold her house last year, the market is different, right? And so I'm giving you expert advice in this market. And so I first just, acknowledge the fact that they have a village, because I never want somebody to feel like, oh, you just wanted to be me. Like, I can't bring any, I never want that, because I bought a house before and my mama and uncles, they were there, right?
They were there, exactly.
So I get it, right? I get it, I really do. Especially because my target, like, honestly, my clientele is really women most of the time. And so I understand, right? But at the very same time, as you are getting outside consultation, trust the person that you sought out to guide you through this process. And so I think it takes a couple of conversations to just be like, hey, are we still good? Do you still trust that I have your best interest at heart? Do you still trust that I'm not going to lead you or guide you into anything that, that's sticky, right? So I think it's having a series of tough conversations sometimes.
I like that. You literally highlighted the experience that you went through. Hey, I had a village behind me, right? So we know that can have an impact on our deals with our clients. You brought up that majority of your clients are women. Do you have a specialization in real estate? In other words, there could be women, but I only deal with the listings, I deal with the first-time buyers, or is there a particular group? And before you answer that, the reason why I want to emphasize that, because Legacy Builders Mentorship Program, right? And I take it that deals with women and empowerment and all that good stuff, right? Talk to us about all of that.
Yeah, so my specialization right now is starting to be listings. I think buyers are like low-lying fruit, right? And I think everybody kind of starts off with buyers, lots of first-time home buyers, and then you kind of scale. And that's what's happening with me. So I've been everything to everybody, but now really starting to lean into the listings, because to your point, I do have the Legacy Builders Mentorship Program. And so that program is specifically for women who are in real estate and they're new in real estate, and maybe they're just like, I don't know what's next, because real estate is one of those things where you go to school, but they don't teach you how to be a realtor. They teach you how to pass the test. And so, like you said, when you go to the battlefield, that's when you learn all the things. And so I was fortunate enough to, be a part of a situation where I had the support. And I learned quickly. And so I just felt like, because I went further faster, it was my obligation to pretty much like reach back and be like, okay, sis, this is how you do it. You want to be in this industry? Let me show you how. Because again, being honest, it's hard in the real estate industry as a Black person, and it's hard in the real estate industry as a Black woman. So if I see somebody that looks like me, that's the same gender as me, and she's entered the room, I want to be beside her. And I want to make sure that she has the tools that she needs to be successful. So that is the heart of the mentorship program. And we go through everything from structure to systems to support. And that's pretty much the pillars that I built the curriculum on. And it's a 3-month program. So we have monthly mastermind sessions and check-ins and all the things. And so the whole point is that by the time you're done, you've been exposed to as much as you could be exposed to. Because that's the point. That's how you build in real estate, is exposure.
Correct.
So yeah, that's what it is.
And the Legacy Mentorship Program, that just ended. When's the next class?
So it didn't just end. It just, to your point, it just closed. So I had it, I specifically curated it for women because I wanted to be able to get to all of their needs. So it's open, 4 spots are available, and it's every month. So the window just closed. We just had our first mastermind session last night. It was crazy.
Was it?
Yes, but it will open again in March.
Nice, March. Okay, is there a particular date, March 1st or?
No, not yet. But if they follow me, I'll make sure I have the date out, and we'll go.
And we'll highlight that part of the show as well. Just put it out there. You mentioned something which a lot of people are not afraid. Hesitant to talk about. But like I said, we keep it real on our show. I've had some experiences with it, and I think us as Black women and men, we experience it. The discrimination piece, right? And a lot of times it's not clearly stated, right? But we can see it through subtle, right? Small time, the time you've been in real estate, have you seen moments of it, small moments of it? When you was like, okay, well, we do was that a little shot there? Was exactly. What's going on there, right? So, and second part to that question is, if you have experienced that, what was that thing that made you say, this is my response of dealing with it?
I think what I see the most is people not necessarily taking you as serious. And I don't know if that's the woman piece or the Black woman piece. I don't know. It's a combination. But people not taking you as serious. And so what I do, how I respond to that is I show up harder. I show up with everything intact and everything, you know what I mean? It almost pushes you to a point of perfection. Like trying to make sure that all your ducks are in a row so that you can be taken seriously at the table. And then my motto, honestly, is I'm not going to beg for a seat at the table. I think representation is very important. But if you don't have a seat for me and there's no chair in the room, I'll build my own table and I'll just like, it's okay. It's okay if you don't want me here, because eventually you're going to see it.
That's right.
You're going to see me eventually. So I'm not gonna beg for a seat at your table, but I have experienced that, and for me it's been like maybe not being taken as seriously until I do something, and then it's like, oh, okay. Or until I say something and it's like, oh wow, okay, that was profound, or whatever the case might be. So that's been my experience so far.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're gonna interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that. Well, you said something that almost to perfection. I've always, kind of tell my team that we got to do things 3 or 4 times better, right? We got to make sure we on point, being on time. We just have to present that way, particularly with our own people. Let's keep it real, right? Sometimes we, I think we have caution signs until we show, like you said, the trust that, then now they're professional, right? But yeah, kudos to you on that. I just want to get your spin on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, now that clearly we're not out of it, but I think we're out of the hurricane, so to speak, COVID. Okay, so COVID, you got licensed, you got into the game, kind of, I think roughly around them times,
around the
same time. So how is that affecting your current business?
It's affected it in a positive way because of course you had COVID, but then you had a crazy real estate market, right? Like it was crazy. $100,000 over asking, appraisal waiver, all this crazy stuff, right?
Exactly.
But I tell you what, my head was spinning, but there was not a better time for me to get in the game because I learned it. I'm the type of person, throw me in the fire. Don't tell me about it, put me in it. and I'm gonna figure out how to maneuver in it, right? And so I'm so glad that I got into the industry when I did. It was a crazy time to be here, but I feel like now I know strategies and I know systems and I know things to keep me afloat during a pandemic and a crazy market that had not been seen before. So now that eliminates any excuse me moving forward that I can't be successful. Because I did it in a pandemic and I did it in a crazy market when I knew nothing. I learned. So like for me, the pandemic actually, it boosted me now because now I have more confidence versus if I had came in at a calm time or a quiet time, I would not have gone further faster.
Correct. I like what you said that as far as you came in at a time where, things are just a little crazy. But there's always great positives out of negatives, right? And you took this situation, you said, hey, now I know when I'm dealing with these battlefields, how do I equip and how do I handle myself?
Yep.
Let's segue. Social media, right? You get the people who've been in business for an extended period of time, right? They're not kind of quite keeping up with the times, or they're afraid in terms of they feel as though they need perfection, right? Being on front of the camera. What do you say to the seasoned people as well as the newbies? Because clearly the newbies are all over it, but I don't think they understand the profound effect that it can do for your business, particularly than some of the seasoned ones. I see you're taking the full advantage of it. What do you say to people who are not taking advantage of social media?
You're leaving a lot of money on the table. Whole lot. Okay. A lot of money. In terms of commission checks, in terms of networking, you leaving a lot of money on the table and a lot of impact too, because social media is free. It's free marketing. Hundreds of thousands of people are there. I can affect somebody that's in Paris. I can affect somebody that's in Florida, and I'm in Virginia. So why you not? You could have just gave me that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you leaving a lot of it on the table by not tapping into this free resource and not being willing to fully embrace it.
Is there one particular medium in social media that you would say is a little bit more advantageous versus the others?
I don't know advantageous. I think it's your personality. I will say Instagram is more fun for me because I'm big with pictures and video and things like that. So it's better for me there. But I think that Facebook is good for conversation pieces. So if you want to educate and you want to start conversation. So I don't think that one is better than the other. I think you just need to learn how to leverage one against the other.
Great stuff there. I like that because I hear so much, just my spin on it, that people are taking full advantage of TikTok, right? You do the videos on, but then your segment of people may not be on TikTok, right? So like you just say, you take advantage of the Facebook as well as
know who your people are. That's what I teach in the mentorship group. If you know who your people are, you're able to talk to them. You're able to go where they are. But if you're just shooting in the dark, just saying anybody buy a house, you buy a house, me buy, you don't know where they are. But if you can really sit down and say, hey, these are my client profiles, these are my ideal clients, and this is where they are, this is their age group, this is all this is the demographic, then you can go exactly to where they are. If your demographic is 50 and up, they might not be on Instagram or TikTok, but they might be on Facebook, right? That's right. Being able to identify who are my people and then go and build for your people and go and get your people. That's what something that I teach in the mentorship program.
I like that.
Yeah.
You just started a few years ago. You go back, tell yourself on day one, listen, self, you need to change this or implement this. What would that be?
Listen, self, you need to change this limiting mindset because you can do it and you're gonna do it, right? That's the biggest thing you need to change. Stop thinking that college and the box that you actually went through is the only way, because it's not. You can make a whole lot of money. You pay your college dues off by tapping into real estate and taking full advantage of it. So I think the biggest thing was not just limiting beliefs, but limiting beliefs around what success looked like for me, right? Success looked like a degree. Success looked like a 9 to 5. with benefits and all the things. But honestly, this has been so much more fulfilling, and it's been on my terms. So just like limiting beliefs around what success looks like is what I would challenge myself to readjust and relook at.
You said something profound just now. You was like, on my time. I can't emphasize this enough when people get into the business. You're not an employee. This is your business, right? So how much effort and energy and time and resource you're gonna put into it to see it grow, right? Give it 10%, you're gonna get 10% results, right?
We'll get 10.
You're gonna get 10, right? And as simplistic as that sounds, you'd be surprised how challenging that is with people just getting to the business. I guess they think, okay, leads fall out the sky, which a lot of it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't.
It does not work that way. Van-Neisha, you really, let me tell you something. You light us so many great jewels, right?
Wow.
We ask our guests 2 golden nuggets. Now you gave us a lot. 2 golden nuggets, whether that be a scripture, a book, a quote, anything that gets you going. 2 golden nuggets. Go ahead and feed it to us. Go ahead and go.
One thing is real estate specific. A lead is not a lead. It's just somebody you talk to. That's it. Stop overthinking it. You want to know how to get leads? Talk to people. A lead is somebody that you talk to. It's somebody that's on the football field with you and your kids. It's somebody that you walk in Walmart with. That's a lead. So really, it's not about like cultivating the lead or necessarily converting. Rather, it's not about converting the lead. It's about cultivating the relationship. So that's what a lead is. Second thing, I think it'll probably be a scripture. Everywhere my foot treads, like God has already given it to me, and that literally lights me up because I realize that no matter where I'm going, no matter what direction I'm walking, God is before me. He's already gone. So like the path is set, success is set, lessons are set, right? And all things really do work for my good, no matter where I'm going. And that scripture alone gives me so much perspective and power as I walk into rooms with women or people rather that don't look like me. When I'm the only woman at the table, when I'm the only Black woman at the table, when I'm the youngest at the table, knowing that everywhere my foot treads, God has already given that to me. It's like, oh, I can go in the room because God been in the room for me. He been in it already. You know what I mean? Like I'm good. So those are 2 things I think people can eat off of.
Wow. That anytime you mention God, I think that's always just the number one inspiration all the time.
Absolutely.
Van-Neisha, is there a question that I didn't ask you that you would like to answer?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think we hit a lot. Gosh, I don't want to let it fall flat right now, but I think we hit a lot. It was
just a great conversation. It wasn't interrogation, huh? It was just a good conversation. That's the great thing about the show.
And I love real estate conversations. I love faith conversations. I love that I'm able to marry the 2. That's kind of what this season feels like for me is that I'm marrying the two of my passions, faith and real estate. So yeah.
I like that. So listen, we're going to end this with Ms. Van-Neisha Johnson, who's in the Richmond area as a real estate agent as well as a coach. Van-Neisha, I want to thank you for being on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. We'll see you all soon. Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.